Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Site. Today we have our game 4 of Kings of Winter GT, and I'm going to be playing off against Travis Timm and the Orcs that he's been given. So Travis was the other person that let Jeff create an army for him and borrowed it for the event. So and he did really well day one, went 3-0 with them. So we got our work cut out for us here in this game 4. Travis and I faced off a couple times here on the channel, and it's always been tough games. So let's go ahead and dive into the list and the game. So for the Orcs, Trav was given Troop of Morax with the Skull Pole and Skirmisher's Boots, 2 Hordes of Axe with Skull Poles on both, a Horde of Great Axe with Skull Pole, Regiment of Gore Riders, 2 regiments of Orklings, a Legion of Fight Wagons, 2 War Drums, both with the Dread upgrade, Giant with the Rampager upgrade, Flagger with Bane Chant, Godspeaker with Knowledgeable, Fireball, and Host Shadow Beast, Troll Bruiser, and a Crudger on Wing Slasher with Life Leech 1 item. So it brings him out to 15 drops, 29 unit strength. And Travis also has the Frost Drakon. So all in all, pretty tough list. You see why Trav's been winning with it. It definitely runs people down and punches them in the mouth. But I think the big thing that we have going for us going into this game is that we have a really high amount of shooting. And Orc infantry aren't terribly fast, so we should be able to get a good amount of shots off. So here is Trav going into the game. He was maybe a little hungover, maybe still a little drunk from the night before, but that's even more terrifying. He plays better when he's not sound mind, so he's just an animal. So the scenario we got this time is hold the line. And this is our terrain. So on the left here, the big thing is we got 2 impassable pieces, 1 on each side. So it really cuts our board down, which I don't think it really benefits either one of us more than the other. I have a little bit more speed and stuff that could get around, but I am also kind of worried more about his wing Crudger on Wing Slasher and then his Drakon character. If those guys were to do kind of a flanking mission, that's a pretty scary force that I don't know if I really have the tools to truly deal with. So luckily the shortened board is kind of preventing those options though. So um, and then the rest of the terrain, we got a forest in the top left, bottom right, hill in the bottom center, top right, obstacle here, and where is that other obstacle? There's another obstacle somewhere. I'm sure we'll see it. I think Trav might be sitting on top of it. I think it was in his deployment zone there. Flat and flat. So pretty even balanced board. So let's get a little closer look here. So Trav has the Legion of Fight Wagons in the back. This is the Great Axe Horde. He has the Giant. Behind that is a War Drum. He has a Horde of Axe. In the center, he has a Troll Bruiser with the Shaman or the God Speaker behind it and the other War Drum. Troop of Morax, Horde of Axe. The Frost Drakon is this flyer here. Orkling Regiment, the Gore Riders. Then out on the right flank, he has another regiment of Orklings and the Flyboy, the Wing Slasher. For me, I put Scorch Wings on the far left, Rakaz, uh, got, what are they called? Fire Elementals. I rolled up Radiance of Life, I believe, for this one. I think that's right. Um, for my monster. So he's sitting there. Ancients, the Ember Sprites behind. We got the Greater Fire in the middle with my individual somewhere in here. I forget where he is. Oh, he's behind the Frost Giant right now. Ceremonial Guard Horde Phoenix, the Rhino Cav, another Ember Sprite, the Gekota Skylord, and the last Scorchwings out on the right. So scout, I go ahead and scout through the units as per usual to get up into decent positions here. And roll for first turn, and Trav gets it. So he will take first turn and move up accordingly. So he has everything kind of moving up. The giant moved up a little further to offer a little bit more range threat. He marched up with the individual, the God Speaker. He's gonna try to fireball me. That's the only ranged attack he has in this game, besides Scorched Earth from the Drakon. So pretty basic movement here. The terrain really slows up his line. There's that other obstacle he was on. So it prevents him from keeping an even line and pushing up aggressively at least, which is definitely beneficial to me. So his turn one was over. My turn one has just begun. So on the left, we just reposition, move for cause in, and angle him up. So we're giving this giant charges for days. I think big thing is it's a rampager giant, so the only thing I really don't want him to go into is the ancients, because that crush 4 against defense 6 obviously not a good value for me. But I have them screened with the regiment, so yeah, I'm okay with him coming into any of these guys and not getting rampage. Do and moved up over here as such. So basically, the rhinos are out of charge range of the wing slasher and protecting these guys who are all in range of the wing slasher. Just giving us a good counter charge if he does choose to come into anything. And then moving up to get in range to shoot a bunch of stuff. So the what's it called, the Ember Sprites are going to outrange a large portion of Trav's army with range 12 against speed 5. So got to get some value here, get some of their shots going. Um, and the other big thing was the fire elemental was greater fire was able to move up and be in 12 inches of the individual for turn one because Trav marched that individual up. So that always helps. So this is after Trav's turn. So my shooting, I put some wounds on the Orklings. I might have wavered this Orkling here. I definitely wavered the um, individual, which is where all the shots in the middle went at. The fireball, these guys, my Phoenix as well went in there. I think I did 7 wounds, but he's next to a war drum, so he's a little bit tougher to kill. So got a waiver. I'm okay with that. He's not shooting me this next turn, so yeah. So this is Trav's turn. He just kind of repositions and levels out his line. And my left hand side, I think it was just the Scorch Wings that could get shots in. I don't think Rakaz was quite in to shoot over there yet. So yeah. So pretty basic. Not much to discuss here. He just goes in pretty straight line here. He moved everybody up in line with the giant, and he's keeping uh, everything out of 12 inches of my um, fire elementals and my frost monster. right now, which I'm okay with. I don't really want to charge him right now. My shooting's all in range here for the next turn, so. And then he repositions a little bit over here. Nothing too big. My turn though. I didn't even take pictures of movement because honestly, I didn't move. I have the lines, a little bit of shuffling here or there, but I have the lines where we want them. We're just outside of 10 inches. We're gonna stay in that stalemate as long as I have the shooting advantage. So my shots, I pick up both the regiments of Orklings out here, which is great. And I start applying some more pressure over here onto this horde. And I think I shoot at this horde with the other shooting in the middle that didn't have better shots. So yeah, this is what it looks like going into Trav's turn 3. Breezy turns here. I didn't even move up to threaten a 12-inch charge for my next turn here. I just maintained the line. Rakaz is breathing here. Scorchwings are shooting here. So we're shooting the Morax, which is not getting cover at this point. And they're only defense 4. So yeah, make it a nice, soft, easy target to pick up later. So Trav's positioning, he sidesteps his whole line, just side shuffles little toot 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 all the way across over here. Um, yeah. So his turn 3, he's just fine where he's sitting. Um, which I don't blame him because we discussed this. If he pushes forward, I have the initiative, the charges. I'm coming off the hill with some stuff, so I'm getting some extra value. Um, and anything like this giant, or I think this troll bruiser's even arranged to charge something. Those little onesie twosie charges aren't going to cut it. He's not going to kill me. I have a good radiance of life going, so I'm going to recover those wounds pretty easily. Um, and he's not able to really hold up enough valuable stuff to follow up with the infantry horde. So it's a tough position to be in for Trav here. So I definitely don't envy him. So yeah, side shuffle, and he moves his individual back up in range. He's shooting a fireball at my individual who poked his head out in between the fire ellie and there. So he's gonna try to one shot my individual to cut down the shooting. He does pretty good. He got 4 wounds, and I forget if he wavered him or not, but either way, didn't kill him. So my turn. I do move forward a little bit over on the left, so that way I can threaten a charge this turn with all of my fun stuff. And I'm still protecting, threatening a flank charge if the giant comes in, because that's the only thing that could charge me here. And otherwise, I'm just maintaining the status quo, getting my shots, making sure I'm getting counter charges if he charges anything over here, making him hindered if he does charge some places. So, I'm pretty happy with just trying to keep shooting. I mean, these hordes, they have a decent amount of wounds on them already. I might be able to pick them up here shortly. So yeah, a little closer look at my lines, but that's turn 3 and shooting. I don't think I picked anything up, but as you can see here, there's a decent number of wounds on these guys, maybe like 5 to 7 wounds there. Because of his side shuffle, some of the 12-inch range targets adjusted over here. There's like another 3 wounds here. But the Moraxes, I think, are close to double digits at this point, maybe 10 or 12 wounds. So I think it is 12 wounds actually right now. So they, move into the cover, but it's not going to do a whole lot now with that many wounds on them. So um, yeah, so we're yeah, bottom 3. We're feeling pretty good here. We got a lot of wounds out, and there's no way for him to recover. Oh, I did shoot off the God speakers with a return fireball. So We got that going for us. Not sure what I'm looking at here. Movements. Okay. Yep, got the God Speaker. Cool. So Trav pushes forward this turn. Oh, I think I got a waiver on this horde over here. This last turn when I got him up to 12 wounds. So pretty lucky to get a waiver, but um, Trav decides it's time to push forward, so he does so. And we'll take a look a little bit. So a giant comes into the elementals. He throws the fight wagons at the double through his units, bringing them up here. He does bring the troll into the what's it called, the Ember Sprites, which right now, because of the troll's base, I actually don't have an angle to flank, but I can always surge the fire elemental in. So and then on the right, he just moves forward a little bit, but he's staying out of 8 inches of me, and he's casting the Scorch Earth, which applies Frozen for the special character. So he's preventing my horde from charging his horde, but threatening the charge on me the next turn. So, uh, pretty good move by Trav there. Uh, I think that will definitely help him close the gap. Um, so his charges, he actually doesn't kill anything. It's not uncommon that these guys stick around. They're fearless 11. He only has 5 attacks, but I think the sad thing was he only did like 4 wounds to the fire ellies, which is a little bit below average, but not definitely not where he wants to be. I think Trav throughout the game here, we talked and everything. He's just kind of defeated. It's a bad matchup army wise, but then on top of that, there's some dice that aren't going his way, and then I'll spike a good nerve check or a good shooting attack every once in a while, which really just adds insult to injury at this point. So it's tough. Trav's playing for a win, playing for as much as he can, but he's really limited in what tools he has available to him. So charge wise, fight wagons are only height 3, so the sword twins could see over. Because these guys are on 12 wounds, I decide, yeah, let's go in and try to pick this unit up. I look at the fight wagons, realize they don't even have thunderous charge, so I don't really see a point in charging them. So I want to pick up the giant. Because I can't slide any further over, that forces the fire ellies over when it comes to the double charge. So we take the flank and the front. This guy's on the hill up here, an inch away from the troll, but didn't want him to fall over, so he'll be surged in. The my frost elemental went into this horde because we got ensnare, so we should be able to hold off against a horde for a turn. Hopefully, is what we want, but we'll see. And then we just reposition on the right hand side and continue shooting. At this point, my shooting's going into the Regiment of Gore Riders, so I I think I actually got a lucky waiver last turn when they were only on like 4 wounds and they weren't rallied. So again, some lucky dice spikes when things aren't going well for Trav already. So combat, we do pick up the horde, which wasn't a guarantee. I think with the rally, they're at 23, 25, so 12 wounds on them already. I think we ended up doing 8 or 10, so we did pretty well. Um, but yeah, we were expecting to waiver kind of as a worst case scenario and had a decent chance of picking him up, but we got him. And then position like so, we'll take the war drum in the flank if it allows us to take a flank charge on either of these two options next turn. We do pick up the giant as well. Rakaz turns to face to the left, so that way it's a front charge from the chariots. and our greater fire ally hits, kills, and overruns because he's going to go after the chariots as well. And then we just sidestep to the right a little bit with these guys. So, pretty very happy with the combat results. Everything went according to plan and exactly how we want it. And I shot, and I think I wavered the Gore Riders again, if I'm not mistaken, this turn. So getting pretty lucky with the shooting to, you know, be as effective as it is against a lot of defense fives. So, yeah, this is how it looks beginning of the turn for Trav, and this is where he ends up. So decides not to take the hinder charge into these guys. I mean, the rhinos are right there to counter, so it's just a death wish. Unfortunately, it's just not going to work out too well for him. But the big thing he did on his turn, he did kill um, the frost monster. I made a mistake here. I should have had it inspired. I was just out of inspiring with the mage priest. So definitely a mistake on my part. Got a little sloppy there. Combat wise, though, he does go into Rakaz, and uh, yeah, this is just how he's positioning over here. It's just not a good situation, and I don't blame him for not coming forward. It's holding my guys there, forcing me to maintain the status quo over here, but I think I'm going to be winning on the left hand side and in the middle pretty soon here, so something's got to happen on the right. So after he kills the frost monster, he turns like so. Um, and I think his thought process is, well, you can take the flank here if you want, but so he tried to do the same. Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, I think he might have moved up within 8 inches anyway. I think he was giving me this charge, but he tried to do the uh, hindered thing and he failed. But I think it was on a unit that I'm not charging with anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The big thing was Rakaz stuck and was not wavered. So here's a picture of my turn 5, I want to say. Bottom 5. Is that what we're on? Game's been going pretty quick. When he didn't kill Rakaz, he just picked up the unit. Don't really blame him. It's uninspired, and I wanted to make sure I got that kill, so took the flank and double front. Came into this horde with everything else that we had there. So, and then I decided that I could have double or triple charged this unit here, but I didn't like my reform options. And my horde's undamaged, so I feel like they can take a turn if we don't, kill or waver this unit. So we go ahead, take the hinder charge over this obstacle, and then I have the Ember Sprites blocking off the flanks, so that way there's no getting into these guys. And then our shooting is going to all go into the Gore Riders, who are on 6 wounds, I believe, at this point. And we pick up the Gore Riders this turn, which is pretty good. Very, very good for us, obviously. Yeah, and then combat, we kill this horde over here, which again had a handful of wounds, if not more, uh, on it. So we overrun with the ancients and then just reform, and we do end up killing the chariots out there, reform, turn around, and everything. So in our shooting, we went into some more axes, I think, with the shooting over the top. Didn't kill him, but put some wounds on him. So this is where we're at for Trav's turn 6, I believe it is. I think it's 6. Maybe it's 5. No, this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. So this is 6. Okay. So he charges the flank of the ancients, which blocks up these guys as well. So yep, and then he counter charges here, or maybe I wavered him. I forget exactly what happened. Um, he charges the flank with the war drum over here, and then charge. One thing I did last turn is I did move these guys up, and they are just in the hold the line part, so that way we're getting their unit strength 3 in here. And he charged the Rhino Cav with the Slasher. So nothing dies, nothing breaks, so it's good for me. Bottom of 6, and this is what it looks like. So we rear charge the war drum. We go ahead and charge the Moraxes with the Ancients. We countercharge into the middle here, and then we double charge this war drum. Just countercharge. Yeah. So, oh, I didn't move it yet. I actually end up flank charging with the Phoenix as well. And then we move forward here with this guy. I forget what he's doing or shooting at, but we kill the war drum. We kill the Morax. We kill the other war drum as well, and we kill the horde. But we did not kill, or maybe we didn't kill the things. Anyway, sorry, this is the last picture after we had picked up, but Trav had his Drakon and his dragon still alive, and there was no turn 7. So, yeah, it was just a game that kind of got out of hand, and as you can see, I have a ton of wound markers out here in across my entire army. I almost ran out of wound counters, but the only thing that died was our frost monster. So this ended up being a blackjack, a true 21. We did not get the bonus point because our frost monster died. But Trav actually ended up getting that bonus point because his was alive. He killed mine. It was in combat. So, yeah, but a 21 doesn't really tell the tale of this game. Um, yeah, I think if Trav were to make the orc list himself, he definitely would have made some changes. But in this particular matchup, it's just pretty tough, and the hold the line scenario really kind of allowed us to hold that status quo line that we had across the entire board and just keep raining fire onto him until he decides he came forward, and then we get the initiative of attacking as well. So um, just a bad matchup. On top of that, some good dice rolls going our way as well. So it's just one of those feels bad games. Trav's a good buddy of mine. He's my brother. We've known each other forever. We both play out of Omaha, so uh, he was frustrated, but it was more at the situation, the scenario, and I think the bad dice kind of on top of that as well really do not help the situation. So. Um, but yeah, Trav goes on to win his next game. So the Orcs just definitely had a bad matchup, is all. So he did really well with them though, and yeah, it was a little bit of unfortunate situation. I think normally our games are really tight, really tactical, and really entertaining. At least in my opinion, they are. And this one was just kind of a landslide, unfortunately. So, what can you do about it? We take the win, and at this point, we take the lead in the event. So we're going to the top table, and even with this huge win over Trav, he was still in second place for battle points. So he and I were a ways above the rest. So yeah, so we're going into last game, 3 wins and a draw. We know we're going to be on top table, so we're expecting that it'll be a good game to finish out the event. And we have a pretty comfortable lead, so all we need to do is not completely get tabled. So, yeah, that's all for this one. I appreciate everybody for watching, and I'll see you in game 5.